Get started. So welcome to the July 29th, 2024 meeting of the Standish Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting will now come to order. This is a public proceeding, and unless the board specifically votes to go into executive session, you have the right to hear everything that's being said and to look at all the exhibits that are offered. Please notify the chairperson, which is myself, if you are unable to see or hear. The board works from a prepared agenda and will be considering tonight's items in the following order. We have, under new business, an application for a special exception, an automotive mechanical garage within the town's land use district, currently zoned rural. The applicant, Clifford Strumpf. Is Clifford here this evening? Thank you. 15 Edith Murray Way, map 3, lot 83. For each case this evening, and we have one on the docket, as I just referenced, the applicant will be asked to proceed first and then be available to answer questions from the board. After the applicant has spoken, all other interested parties may make their presentations and then be questioned by the board. This is considered the public session. After all interested parties have spoken, each side will be given an opportunity for a brief rebuttal if necessary. Once the public comment session is closed, the board will deliberate and then decide the matter. This meeting is obviously being recorded, so it is often very difficult to hear what is being said when multiple people are speaking at the same time or do not speak directly into the microphone at the podium. So please refrain from interrupting other speakers. Any questions, please come to the podium and direct them through me, the chairperson. We ask that each person offering any testimony tonight come forward to the podium, speak through the microphone, give their name and their current address. In each instance, the burden is upon the applicant to demonstrate compliance with the provisions of the applicable ordinance or ordinances. The applicant must demonstrate the proposal seeking a use approval meets each of the defined 7 criteria for a special exception. As a reminder, for a special exception application, the board acts by a majority vote of the 5-member board. As such, for a special exception to be granted this evening, at least 3 members of the board must vote in favor of each of the 7 criteria. Not as a whole, but each of the 7 criteria. There are 4 board members this evening, so you'll need at least 3 of us to vote in favor of each of the criteria. A tie vote based on board members present or in the event there is an abstention is insufficient to grant a special exception. Following a decision on an application or appeal, the board will prepare a written decision indicating its findings of fact and conclusions of law that will be mailed to the applicant within 7 days of the board's vote, or you can certainly pick it up here at the town hall within 7 days after we vote this evening. If your application or appeal is granted, you must obtain a building permit from the code enforcement officer. If anyone wishes to appeal the board's decision, you must do so to Superior Court within 45 days of this evening's meeting. Are there any questions about what I've just read from the general audience? No. All right. A couple housekeeping items in first order of business that I want to mention is we actually have a new board member this evening joining the zoning board, Chris Perrin. Welcome. Mr. Perrin has replaced Terry Christie, who apparently decided to go back to his old stomping grounds on the town council. So we certainly thank Terry for his service on the zoning board and wish him well in the town council, as he was elected back in June, I believe, right? Yeah, June. So Chris, welcome. Glad you're here. Thank you. The other thing that we usually dispatch with is we want to make sure, not that I expect it to happen, but we always put time conditions around the meeting, and we always entertain a motion that, depending on what happens in terms of the agenda this evening and the applications, that the meeting does not go or exceed a maximum of 3 hours. It concludes at 9 p.m. So I'll make a motion that tonight's meeting, which is now started, will not end later than 9 p.m.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, good. So now we're going to go right into new business. Again, an application for a special exception, the mechanical garage within the town's land use district, currently zoned rural. I'm going to ask that Mr. Strumpf come to the podium, please, and address the board and walk us through sort of your conceptual plan, and we'll then ask that you sort of discuss and respond to the 7 criteria.
Hi, for those who know me, I'm Cliff Strumpf. I own the Standish Auto Care down here on 25. Been doing business there a little over 10 years. And I'm looking to move the business down to our property down on 15 Edith Marie Way. One of the reasons is to be in my own building, but also I don't know what's going to go on in the future there. I want to make sure my son has a future in this business. So by moving it there, that would help his future. And we're doing business the same as we do there. We do mechanical work and basically just want to move the business over there.
All right, I'm going to open it up to the board for questions with two. Clifford, if you have any at this time?
You own the land and the building currently? Or
Yes.
You own the building?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any plans for what happens with the building after you move?
Oh, the building I'm in right now?
Yep.
Oh, no, the building I'm in right now, I lease.
You lease it?
Yeah.
Okay, and your lessor is fine with you moving out early?
Well, yeah, there's no problem there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you explain a little bit about your current business as it relates to the new location, which is really just a new location, right? The business will stay the same.
Same
but-
thing, same hours, same phone number, just the address is going to change.
And to what extent is it an automotive garage? Like, is it just mechanical in terms of auto repairs,
Just
like
auto repair,
tires,
yeah,
oil
tires,
changes?
brakes, mufflers, ball joints. Absolutely no body work, no paint, no nothing. It's just mechanical work. 8 to 5.
Are you planning to be open 6 days a week, 5 days a week?
5 days a week. Yep, 8 to 5.
And on average, what do you anticipate? Because you have it looks like you have an existing building on your current property that you own on Edith Way, correct?
Yep,
And you're going to add a second building, which is comparable size?
yes,
Okay. So the current building's just been used for personal consumption?
yes, sir.
All right. And the second building, with that, you'll have two large bays, basically, to service vehicles.
No, actually, there'll be 6 bays, but we're using 5 of them.
Right. But two buildings, 6 bays within
Yeah, the
those
buildings
two.
are being together, they're penned together.
Okay.
So there's doors that access the buildings.
All right.
It'll,
So as such, like, it's larger than your current facility,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. What are you anticipating in terms of, like, volume, auto repair volume per week?
well, it's probably the same now. I mean, we service about anywhere from 12 to 1,300 customers, and, we average 12 to 14 vehicles a day.
And you said this, yourself and your son,
Yes, sir.
is that the only
No,
mechanics?
I have part-time.
Okay. Are you anticipating trying to grow your business? Is your son anticipating trying to grow the
Yeah,
business?
I think he'd like to, yeah. The main reason for leaving is his security, to make sure he has a future in his business. Because, buildings get sold, we don't own the building we're in, so if that was to be sold, he wouldn't have much of a future in the business that we have, that we started together.
And the current building would be inadequate?
Well, buildings come up for sale, there's talk, sometimes, they could sell the building, if they did, I wouldn't have any control over it.
No, I'm sorry, let me rephrase my question. Where your current private property is, you have a facility there, but that would be inadequate to service
For
the
the
amount
garage
of
I already
volume.
have there?
Right.
Yeah, we needed something a little bit bigger, yeah.
Have you had a chance to look at the criteria, the 7 criteria to meet, receive a special exception?
Yeah, I've looked through that, yeah.
Okay. Obviously, this isn't in the shoreland zoning.
No.
All right, are you close to outside of the shoreland zone, are you close to any body water, or brooks, or wetlands, or?
No, there's wetlands behind us, but there's no brooks or anything that run through the property. I mean, my dad's owned that since 1982. Yeah, there's no brooks that run through my property.
Okay. And what do you anticipate in terms of vehicle, like storage and accessibility for your customer base? Like, how many on average do you think vehicles will actually be sitting there on your property?
Well, we try to get things done each day for our customers like we do now. And, I mean, we'll have up to 14 to 17 parking spots, but we try to get the work done the same day. We make the appointment so people get their cars back. They don't normally sit there more than a day or two.
Any storage? Do you offer any storage services for vehicles, or? And the street, Edith Way, is that a town road?
I named the road after my mother. That was
So it's a
named
private way?
It's a private way.
Yeah. And is it paved?
after- It will be.
Are you the only, so do you own the road and the abutting properties, or is there any other neighbors on that street?
No, I own everything that's on that road,
So you have no neighbors on that road?
right?
Okay. Feel free to jump in if others have questions. Chris or Lauren or
I have a question.
Mike, I know you usually have a ton of questions. I don't want to
These, so,
monopolize the whole thing.
sorry, your plans are from 2014, which seems to be like roughly the same time you started the business. Was this the original plan for the existing garage?
No, those are just plans I acquired to build the shop that I have at my own property right now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
How far is your nearest neighbor? I'm thinking from a noise.
Oh, my closest neighbor would be my brother Sammy, I guess. He's just a little ways down the road. I would say probably, I don't know, 16th of a mile. He's the next house down. Yeah.
Will this require a modification of waste disposal systems with the new building?
It would be the same thing I'm using now. We use like a cement dike, and I have plastic drums that, like Brian Levitt comes and takes the recycled stuff for his recycled oil furnace. There'll be no drains on the property, no different than how I'm running the business now.
Okay. And it's on approximately 10 acres that you own, correct?
A little more than that.
And so, it's a rough sketch, I get it. I see where, looks like the home is, the garage. And it's 55 feet from the proposed garage to your property line?
I own that as well, too. That was my dad's place. That was an old drawing when I drew that, but I since acquired my father's place as well.
All right, so would you submit that the proposed building will be sort of in the middle of the property? I'm trying to get a sense,
Yeah.
like,
No, when you pull into the driveway, the garage will be to the right, and then the driveway keeps going up in my house, and then my other place is up on top of the hill. But there's no other places in between my property there. My dad's is actually out on 35 in front of me, to the left. So if you pulled into my Edith Marie Way, my father would be the next driveway down.
okay. Roughly speaking, JP, is the proposed building sort of, is it elongated 10 acres, or it's sort of a large parcel with it?
It's kind of a large,
Yeah.
it's not elongated, it's just 10 acres